we have not taken care of our employees in a long time. Like I said before, we've done some more. But a couple months ago, we did some refinancing. We extended our debt so that we could reinvest in our casinos and in the areas that make us money. Part of that was to put in money into an SDS system, a slot system, which we haven't seen yet, but supposedly we get that soon. But the other, I would argue, is we're supposed to put back into our employees because they're what make us money. Not just at the casino, but throughout the tribe. And this is part of it. Because if you don't take care of them, you're not going to have anything. You're not going to have services. You're not going to have customers. And as far as, this is, that's not bonus. It's not glitzy. It's not glossy. It's solid. It's something you plan a budget on, and it's something that you get to take home with you every day. And it's something that comes in every budget. And it's something that you plan your budget on. It's not something that you worry about sustaining. It's something that you budget and plan upon. It goes in the engine. You don't get a choice. That's the beauty of it. Because the easiest thing to get rid of is those benefits to the employees. That's why it's secure.
We could always revisit
But when
it.
you lock them in,
If we have an emergency crisis, we'd have to.
and that's why it's not. Sure, it would have been nice to talk about it when we spent 5 hours on a bonus. So that was hard.
Okay, Darcy.
Yeah, you're saying that the CPI could be 0. What's the CPI been the last 4 years, DJ?
It's 0 this year.
Last 4 years.
It's capped up at 3. And then
You told me the last 4 years the CPI has been 0.
no, I'm saying keep that put a cap in.
Anyways, we extended our debt. Yeah, we did. The casinos are not making any more revenue, regardless of what's being told. Numbers don't lie. We got people from full-time to part-time. The insurance is getting raised now, but it's going in the long run. Because you're going to cut people that have full-time and have benefits, and part-time that don't have benefits. And it's going to end up costing the employees and the team members in the long run. We extended out our debt. If we didn't, we were going to have to cut $3 million in services. And that's what it was going to come up to be. We didn't meet our covenants. We were going to be fine with the banks. This is the reality. So making these promises, yeah, the bonus was sitting there. We had that in this budget. This false hope that a CPI is going to happen for one, which the last 4 years has been 0. I'm not against giving a raise, but as far as the bottom line goes, we have compression issues. For 3.5 years, we've so that does work. Yeah, they have fixed up. There's been no plan. HR hasn't brought money back to fix the problem. It's just continuing to get worse. Then we pick and choose individuals who come in that we might give an increase to, and we don't for others. So I mean, this board and this tribe has a lot of issues. And this should have been one shot. Maybe we could have worked out something, but to me, it just seems like we just keep throwing things on top of it. We're going to give you this. We're going to take it away. In 2008, it's going to happen all over again if we don't start the plan. And this is being thrown on haphazardly. We have a workshop there. We're talking about it for 10 minutes. We just got a resolution 5 minutes ago. So, no, I can't support this at this time. Because we don't know what the reality of this tribe is. We are not making money at the casinos. That is the reality.
Okay. Jennifer.
Darcy raised some good points about the consumer price index being the thing that drives this. And I'm not really comfortable with having an outside entity determining what we're going to do. I know that in other business world, it's a common practice to have the COLA that's automatically tied to it. But I want to make sure that there's some method that assures that at least something regularly is going to be looked at and considered and possibly pushed forward. Like DJ said, you budget for it, you plan for it. It's not something that you have to wait to the end and see if you have enough money for it. The grants are doing their budgets and applying. They plan ahead for it so that money will be there. Especially if we put a cap on it, we know that it won't be more than that. So I think that we've spent a lot of time trying to make sure that 2008 doesn't repeat itself. And the best of the thinking at this board is that this is where we've come to and it's not going to repeat itself. There's no way of predicting the outside forces that affect revenues, that affect all kinds of things. We don't have control over that. We don't know if the economy is going to take off and inflation is going to go crazy, or if we're going to really see a lot of other things happen. You know, competition could get worse. You know, there are lots of things that could affect our abilities to generate revenues, but those are things that we have to address from a business perspective and work to make sure that those things are minimized. So, you know, in the end, I think that we've neglected the people who count on us to take care of their families in the ways of paychecks. I think we've neglected them long enough, and this is one of the ways systemically and with a procedure that we can ensure that we're going to do something.
Okay, other board members? Rita.
I just want to say that I fully intended to support this until this add-on. And, you know, I sat and thought about this a lot. I got it over the weekend. And I am in support of a raise. And everybody deserves it, no doubt about it. But this, I'm just going to leave it at, I fully intended to support this until they add it on. And just now, I find out. Can they read that?
The add-ons were the items that you put on.
Right.
Hold on, I can't go to the audience until after the,
Keith, did you add something in?
The only thing I added was the cap.
that's what we're voting on right now.
Yeah, we haven't voted on it yet.
It's
Okay.
between
My amendment
CPI.
was to cap it at 3.
You were capping it at 3%.
Yeah, for the information, the 14 CPI was 1.6, 13 was 1.5, 12 was 2.1, 11 was 3.2, and then 1.6, and then the next year, which was 9, was minus 0.4 or 0.4.
Okay.
So it's averaged probably about 2 over the last few years.
Okay. So that, and then just the other two that were on that I added on. I didn't know, I was trying to figure out what the add-ons were, so.
Okay, other board members, before I go to the audience, it'll be the last call. Denny.
All I have to say is, hey, pass it, it gives you a planning guide, catastrophe happens, you can come back and change it. Doggone. Nothing wrong with planning, but plans change. And it doesn't take a bunch of hours of arguing to change a plan. If it happens, we change it, move on. Let's vote.
Okay, other board members. DJ, again? Again?
Can't hear you.
I wrote those down for you, thanks for bringing those. We spent a lot of time on the budget earlier today as far as the bonus, correct? I wasn't in it because I was watching people throw numbers on the wall and have no actual plan to them, but that's okay, because it's fine, it's over. I bit my tongue and I
You didn't vote for
didn't
it?
tell them, yes, that's fine, it's fine.
Did you vote for those?
And,
Get him going.
exactly, the original resolution has been in our packets on several occasions. It was handed out actually last meeting. I asked to try to suspend the rules last meeting. Before that too. The only addition was the amendment of the and that's it. That was the only change to the entire thing. And that was to make sure there's a good program in budgets. Still gotta approve those budgets. Now, as your debt decreases, your ability to invest in your employees and your tribes increases. So, that's all I got.
Okay. I'm not going to ask again because I don't want you to say it. So I do want to say, all right. So there have been no raises for 7 years. So this proposal would create the expectation for some stability. We submitted in February of 15. Actually, I came to the board and asked, what should we plan for raises if we have the money? We couldn't come to any conclusion. So I finally said, okay, I asked you, I'm putting 3% in the budgets. I'm doing it. Because we couldn't come to any agreement of what that percentage should be. I asked this last year and the year before too, and we couldn't come to any agreement. So that's the way this will continue if we don't have a driver that requires something. And so then we submitted the budgets. They were circulated in August. They were recirculated 2 or 3 times, again, electronically and in writing. The budget should have started on October 1st, and we just passed the budget. So I like the idea that a portion of our appropriations process will be predetermined by us because it's been set. So when you hire people, when you have people, team members that work for you, especially frontline people, you have a social contract with them. They should be able to keep pace with the cost of living, okay? And so CPI, to those who understand it, that is what CPI is. And so tomorrow, the value of the dollar is the same as today with all the additional costs that increase with it. So I had the luxury of working for another tribe and put a CPI in place. We put a performance bonus on top of that. But at least you need to have a minimum. The minimum should be a CPI. And so one of the benefits of this proposal is that it will change the grid because the grid will keep moving in tandem. Right now what we have is a system where we do a market study and then by the time we implement it, it's outdated and then we need to start all over again. But if you have a guarantee of a COLA, it will keep pace with the cost of living so the grid will move along with it. Finally, like Denny said, the sky is falling concern about we won't know what next year is going to be like. Well, of course, if next year is fiscally tight or the year after that and we have to come back with an emergency order that we have to tighten up, well, then you would consider the raises as one of the items that you would look at. There's a number of other items, but to use that as a reason not to support the social contract between you and the team member that they keep pace with the cost of living, that's still a no. So.
We have not yet seen a casino budget. I want you guys all to know that. We have not yet seen a casino budget.
That's correct, and that has nothing to do with me.
We've seen them, we've had them, and that's not true. We have not yet seen a casino budget. I just want to point your information.
Oh, that's correct, but I just want to clarify, the casino management is not under my administrative command, not at all. Okay, so we have Keith's amendment first, and that's CPI to, which CPI is already in the resolution, but capping it at 3%.
That's the motion on the table.
Yes, that's the current motion. So without objection, we'll have a roll call vote.
Denny?
Yes.
Jennifer? Bridget?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Catherine?
Yep.
Rita?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, I did the other two without objection. One was that we continue to exempt the over the max until such time that the market catches up with some of that resolution remains in place. We also excluded the Horn group because they are on their own schedule.
Okay.
All right, and those were done without objection.
Without objections, yes.
Second.
Hold on, I can, to address the issue that Bill had, I can ask without objection if we set the CPI at the first annual budget that's approved and the subsequent budgets approved are consistent with the first annual budget. That addresses Bill's concern.
For planning reasons, not for.
Yeah, you set the CPI at the first annual budget that's approved.
Okay.
And then the subsequent budgets for that year, for 16, so like Head Start would be first, really,
You know,
right?
budget that's approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is any objection to that? Okay, now we go to the main motion that includes the amendments, all the amendments. And without objection, we'll have a roll call vote.
Darcy?
No.
DJ?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
Rita?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Denny?
Yes.
Catherine?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion. Wonderful. Let's hear from the bar. We are now on,
Take a
5 minutes?
5-minute break.
yeah, and then we'll come back and do relinquishments and fisherman subsidy. Fisher subsidy, not fisherman. Good job, DJ.